right.
You can trade him for nothing.
1 o'clock hour, we will break that down as well. Let's get into some Beam talk. Domantas Sabonis out. Keegan Murray is in, but out. Sabonis ruled out with a left knee injury sustained Sunday against the Spurs. Will be the third different injury Sabonis has missed time with this season. Hamstring opening night, ribs out for 2 games, and now the knee. And then Jason Anderson broke this news. Keegan Murray will make his season debut on Thursday against the Grizzlies. Will play 31 days after the surgery on his thumb. Missed 15 games when all is said and done, 18% of the season, and he is back. I would assume, I don't know this, but I would assume that Sabonis comes back on Thursday. I think this is a level of, I hope this is just a level of, hey, we don't need Hartenstein to. Yeah. No, you might be right, Kyle. I mean, hopefully
he got ruled out 24 hours early.
Yeah, hopefully that's just the idea of we don't need you to get beat up. We don't need you to get beat up by Hartenstein. Let's just figure out a way to power through here and get to Thursday against the Grizzlies. But you never know. You never know. So that is what's going on with the Sacramento Kings. And now the conversation becomes, who can they be and who will they be once Keegan arrives, and what in the world should the Kings be attempting to achieve? I don't know, 13 games into the season? Yeah, let's not get it twisted, because we always see one texter or a couple texters or a caller saying, you guys are saying Keegan's going to be this savior. And I don't know that we've ever actually said that. We just think Keegan is pretty good at basketball. And Keegan is pretty good at basketball. Maybe you think that Keegan's overpaid. Look, it's very possible that he is making a little bit more than he should be right now, but that he's not the only guy in that situation. Keegan Murray, what he's going to bring to this squad, I think most importantly, even if he does not shoot at the clip from his rookie year, it's shooting. The two things that the Kings stink at, right, is what Keegan is slated to be best at: shooting the 3-ball and defending. So just by that regard, he doesn't have to be, well, he's not this guy and he's not that guy. He doesn't have to be any of that. All he has to do is be Keegan Murray. If Keegan is 80% of Keegan, this team will be better. That does not mean that they're going to make the playoffs. That does not mean they're going to win 5 straight, 2 straight, 3 straight. If Keegan came back today against the Thunder and Sabonis played, I don't think they're winning that game. But some of these games that they don't really have business losing, I do think they'd be winning those games. You have Keegan against, you can make the argument, I think they maybe should have won even without Keegan, but you get Keegan against a Spurs team with no Wembanyama, you win that game. You get Keegan that first game of the season where, you didn't have Sabonis either because of the hammy, but you get Keegan in that game, you beat the Suns. Now, the Suns are better than we thought, but you beat the Suns. I think you have Keegan, you beat that Lakers team because you're locking up. Now, again, that Lakers team was missing LeBron. LeBron, kind of a quiet night to start out. We knew he was on a minutes restriction, but LeBron is back. Everyone, LeBron is back as the Lakers take care of business against the Jazz. And this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Do you think it's any surprise? De'Aaron came back against the Pelicans. LeBron came back against the Jazz. Keegan's coming back against the Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies aren't as bad as these other teams, but this is the best that the Kings could do. This stuff happens all the time. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So that is where I think Keegan will help. But these games that are coming up, when they have the Rockets and the Nuggets, I don't know that the Kings are going to beat the Nuggets simply because Keegan is on the squad now. I mean, the Nuggets are crazy. It does feel like this will be the first time in a long time where Keegan will actually be there to guard Aaron Gordon. It feels like it's been 2 years. So we will have that. That helps.
Sure. And Julius Randle and McDaniels.
Yeah, we will have Keegan for for those guys, which I think matters. That's not anybody calling Keegan a savior. That's not anybody calling Keegan the Messiah, somebody said on the text line. That's not any of that. It's just, we actually have someone that is as tall as the other four guys on the other team and can defend and can shoot the three ball.
Yeah, it's just going to make them better on defense. Now, to what degree better? I have no idea.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's also a level of gravity, right? Having Keegan out there as somebody that you need to guard from the three-point line could give more looks to Keon, if Keon can get on the floor, could give more looks to Zach LaVine, could give more looks to Malik Monk, all these guys. Right now, let's pretend you are the other team. Let's pretend right now you are in the NBA, you have a yacht like Westbrook, and you are getting ready to face the Kings. Let's think about this scouting report, right? And let's not be the Thunder because they probably just laugh. But let's say you actually need a scouting report as you're getting ready for the Kings.
The Grizzlies.
Okay? The Grizzlies. Perfect. You're the Grizzlies. Prior to Keegan Murray. All right, guys, we got the Kings tonight. They're fully loaded outside of Keegan Murray. So this is what they're going to try to do. Westbrook's going to be Westbrook. Zach LaVine, he's going to want to create a little bit and get to his spots and shoot the open three, specifically in transition. We know they also have DeMar. DeMar's going to want to take you into his office. Hey, young guys, don't go for the pump fake. That's what he wants to do. And Sabonis, he's a bit of a hub, but not that much. He's going to want to try to bruise us down low. Defensively, we just have to make sure that Zach LaVine can't get loose from the three-point line. We know Malik Monk coming off the bench. He is a firecracker, so we got to be ready for that. And if Domantas Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan want to two-point us to death, we'll probably live with it. And on the other side, Jaren Jackson, you're going to pull him out a little bit, right? You got Zach Edey, of course, and offensively, Jalen Wells, hey, this team could have had you. They didn't want you, so you're going to be ready to go. Now, let's do that same thing, but now add in Keegan Murray. And by the way, no Ja Morant tomorrow night. So I love how we're just not talking about the game tonight, but you add in
I'm scared it's going to be like a 20-point spread.
Yeah, you just look, maybe just set a low bar and maybe we'll be surprised. Kind of like the first game that they had. And we still don't know who's playing for the Thunder. But hey, we come in, hey, Keegan's back. So defensively, guys, Keegan is a guy. Jaren, he might end up on you. Jalen, he might end up on you. Scottie Pippen Jr., he could end up on any of us, okay? So we have to be ready for Keegan. And offensively, we can't let Keegan Murray get hot, all right? And I know Cedric Coward has been playing really well for them as well. But, hey, we can't let Keegan get hot. So we can't sell out on Zach the same way we were selling out on Zach because we can't give Keegan Murray open shots. All right. And if we can't sell out on Keegan and we can't sell out on Zach LaVine, if they move the ball around enough, we got to be ready for a Keon Ellis 3. We got to be ready for a Malik Monk 3. And Malik Monk's not too much catch and shoot, but we know he can do that as well. So just having Keegan on the floor, it just gives the other team more things to think about. Right now, teams, they don't need to think that much. Right? You know what it is for the Kings right now? You ever watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? At the very beginning of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, when they're cruising through the $100 questions, and then it's the first one you might not be sure about, unless it's just a generational thing and you didn't watch, Kyle, there's a Good Times question, and it's obvious to everyone else, but Kyle didn't watch Good Times, something like that. But you finally once you get to the $1,000 question, that's the first one where a lot of us are thinking, right? Maybe 20% of us, 30% of us, they drop off. Then you get to the $5,000 question. A good bit of us still know. Then you get to $10,000. By the time you get to $50,000, they start using their phone a friend. They start using the audience. Right now, the Kings, their offensive headache, if you will, or their offensive game plan, other teams are looking at that. I don't want to say it's a $100 question, but it's pretty much a $500 question. There is not much to it. There is not much to it at all. You add Keegan Murray, and now we're talking about maybe a $5,000 question where you got to think a little bit. And I'm not saying it's $100,000, but you got to think a little bit. Hey, how do we make sure? And we've seen people get it wrong, right? I've watched that, and they think they're cruising by, They get the $5,000 and they don't want to use their lifelines yet. So they say, I'm pretty sure it's this. And then they get it wrong. And then they got to go home, and whoever the host is at that time says, I'm sorry, is that your final answer? I'm sorry, that is incorrect. So at least at $5,000, it's a little bit more complex. But right now, it is so straightforward. DeMar is going to mid-range you to death. Westbrook giveth, Westbrook taketh, in the form of 7 assists, 4 turnovers. Maybe he gets hot from 3, but I would also love to see, Kyle, and maybe it's still good either way, but I would like to see Westbrook's three-point percentage in the second half. Once things tighten up a little bit, maybe I'm off, but it does feel like early on, the game is free-flowing, right? You're not thinking about it as much. Threes are flowing, and the other team is thinking, look, if Westbrook's getting his confidence, I know he's shooting it at a ridiculous clip, so I'm not saying that this is the case, but hey, if Westbrook is balling like this, shooting the 3 ball early, then later in the game, we'll live with him shooting it, and if he stays hot, he stays hot. So that's going on. Domantas Sabonis, he's not going to throw the dance shoes on you too much and turn you into a meme. It's really going to be some shoulder, and get to the free throw line and maybe a couple and ones. That's what it is. And then you got to watch out for Malik Monk coming off the bench. But most teams, as they only have 3 wins, most teams have been very much prepared for the Kings in that way. And getting Keegan Murray back expands all of that. And now there's just somebody else that you need to pay a lot of attention to. And that's a big deal. So we're not calling him the Messiah. Christmas is coming up. We're not calling him, the savior, but he does make things a decent bit more complex than they currently are when you are scouting the Kings. You scout the Kings right now, it is straightforward. It's addition. It's subtraction. Keegan throws in a little bit of multiplication. Keegan throws in a little bit of long division. Okay? You might need your calculator just to figure it out. Right now, you don't need nothing. Right now, you could do it you could count it in your head. That's how simple it kind of feels right now for the Kings offense. And then defensively, there's just a bunch of food out there. That's just barbecue chicken out there. That's what it seems like. Hey, all right, somebody has Keon, but there's only one Keon. Somebody got Neek. And by the way, I didn't even bring up Neek Clifford. Open things up for Neek Clifford as well. I can't wait to see them play together.
You can actually space the floor with multiple shooters now.
You can have Neek, Keegan on the floor at the same time, which gives DeMar more room for his office, which gives Westbrook more room for corner threes. It expands everything. So I think it's a big deal. And then defensively, Keegan is going to guard your best player. I think he's going to come out the gate guarding whoever the best player is. So tomorrow night,
well, best player 1 through 4. He probably won't guard Jokic.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, what is he on? Jaren Jackson? Probably? Edie's starting.
Yeah, either him or Edie.
Yeah.
Or Santi Aldama. He might have to guard him a little bit.
Yesterday, they started the Grizzlies yesterday they started Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, your boy Cedric Coward, and Vince Williams Jr. So if they started that again, I'm pretty sure he'd be on Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yes, I would. Well, yeah, probably.
So
and then Eubanks on Edie.
Exactly. If Sabonis doesn't play. So I do think that it complicates things. Nobody's calling him the Messiah. Don't get it twisted. But Keegan makes them better. It's very simple. He makes them better.
And again, you talked about you don't have to break out your TI-84s and do this is why they're better. As simple as it can be, power forwards have been crushing the Kings. Mm-hmm. The way that teams pull away at the end is just big guys do big guy things against Precious Achiuwa and Neek Clifford and DeMar DeRozan, and that is why teams pull away so much at the end. Just picking their last few games. Against the Spurs, Harrison Barnes had 20 points, and Jeremy Sohan had 11, and Champagnie had 12, right? Their power forwards just crushing them. Timberwolves, Julius Randle had 26. The Hawks, Jalen Johnson had 24. Against the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon had 17. And then, Jokic had his 35, and Valanciunas had 10, and Bruce Brown had 14, right? You go to the Timberwolves game before that, Julius Randle has 28. the Thunder game, Hartenstein 33 and 19, right? So it's those players that Keegan is going to be guarding that should help them on the defensive end of the floor. Again, by how much, we'll have to wait and see, but it should help better that it should be better having Precious Achiuwa not be guarding the best big on opposing teams. And that's, again, might help a little bit, might help a lot. We're going to find out as the season goes along.
Yeah, so, this is the first time in a long time, and it is tempered, don't get me wrong, but there is a level of excitement. There is a level of excitement to see how these guys, honestly, it ain't even about the team. I'm excited for Keegan Murray because I know that he really wanted to make his presence known this season. And going back to the Suns, funny enough, Kyle, that is a team where they didn't have Jalen Green, and they've been able to perform much better than teams have thought. So, even without Keegan, the hope is that, now, if we looked at strength of schedule, maybe it would be a little bit different. But the hope was that they'd be further along without Keegan. But, hey, you get Keegan back. That month kind of flew by, I'm going to be honest with you. So now we see what happens next. Kyle, it looks like you were doing some work. You got my Westbrook numbers.
I do.
I have no clue if I was right or wrong.
I do have your Westbrook numbers here. So I looked up Westbrook's total numbers and his splits by halves. So if Westbrook is shooting 5.3 3-point attempts per game and he's so far this year 40.5% from three, what would you guess his first and second half splits are? Again, you've got 5.3 total threes to work with, and 40.5% is the average.
I do think it's low. I mean, I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to say he's shooting, 30% in the second half.
How many do you think he's shooting? You think it's a split, or you think he's shooting more or less?
I think it's close. I think he's shooting 2 in the second half.
Okay. So in the second half of games, Russell Westbrook is shooting 2.3 threes per game compared to 3 in the first half, which is a slight difference, not a ton. He's shooting 37.5% in the second halves, 42.9% in the first half.
So he's just cooking right now. I mean, I guess if you're shooting 41...
He's shooting less and not as good in the second half, but it's not like, from doing quick math, it's a 6.5% difference.
No, that's not what I was thinking. It would be more. You
thought he was going to be
than that.
Out here 50% in the first halves and 30% in the second half.
Yes, because that's how it feels when I watch it. But he's cooking right now, so good on him.
He's shooting less per game too.
And if it continues when Keegan Murray gets back, maybe they can figure some things out and be on the right side of it. Speaking of being on the right side of it, Domantas Sabonis is on the wrong side of the injury report tonight as the Kings take on the Thunder. Speaking of Domantas Sabonis, SB Nation has 7 NBA stars on the trade block this season, ranked by most likely to be moved. Where does Sabonis fall? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
This Sponsor the Clock is brought to you by Light the World Giving Machine.
$5,000. That's